Hey, welcome back. So this is part two or puzzle two of day two, Advent of Code with test-driven development, PHP spec. So in the previous one, we went through the exercise of figuring out how much wrapping paper the elves are going to need to wrap all these boxes. Part two takes those same boxes and we need to wrap them with ribbon. And the way that they calculate the amount of ribbon is that they have the feet of ribbon that's required to wrap around the smallest perimeter of any one face. So we're going to need some functions to calculate that for us. And then to make the bow, they use as many feet as there are cubic feet of volume in the present. So it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, but that's what the problem states. So that's what we're going to need to figure out. So let's go back to our box collection spec. So when we left off, we have the ability to hold boxes, and we have the ability to get the total wrapping paper area from the contained boxes. So we also want it to be able to come up with the total ribbon for the contained boxes. And before we get started, I'm going to go ahead and build the puzzle again. So we'll do PHP spec describe day 2 puzzle 2. This time though, it's going to be almost an exact copy of puzzle 1. The difference is I'm going to have it calculate the ribbon instead of the wrapping paper. So puzzle 1, we'll copy this guy, we'll go over here. Actually, we'll just copy the insides. And then we'll change it a little bit. Guess I need the whole function. Alright, so we've got our box collection, our input, we loop over the input, we make a new box, we add the box to the collection, and then we want ribbon length. And that's going to be our variable, and we're going to do that from get total ribbon length. And our total length is going to be ribbon length. So almost the same exact input, slightly different. But we need to now make our collection have this get total ribbon length. So we'll go to the spec for our box collection spec right over there, and we'll say hook function, it should be able to get total ribbon length from contained boxes. So this is almost the same test that we wrote a moment ago for getting the total wrapping paper. We're going to pass in a box interface with a box. We'll call that box 1 again, and another box interface for box 2. And we're going to say box 1 length is some random value, and box 2 length is a random value. And the reason we're doing this again is we don't care about how the boxes calculate their length. We just care at this point how the collection gets the length of, or the combined length from all of the boxes. So we'll say box 1 get ribbon length, and that should return, let's make that a function, that'll work better. We'll return box 1 length, and box 2 get ribbon length. We'll return box 2 length. And then this get, what do we call this, total, I forgot already, get total ribbon length. Get total ribbon length should be the sum of box 1 length and box 2 length. add those together, and we'll run it, and it will say, hey, you don't have a get ribbon length on your box interface, but we can add that. And we get a fatal error also. So what happened here is we changed the interface on the box, right? We said, hey, box, you need to be able to get your own length, but our existing box doesn't have that. So if we go back over to box, scroll up, and we get a little squiggly thing, but we can tell it, hey, go ahead and put that in, and we'll get back to you later. We'll run again, and it says our box collection now, we need get total ribbon length. And just so you're aware, it just added a blank one. There's nothing in it. So now it says, hey, we expected 730, but we got null, and we got a get total ribbon length. So we'll go into our box collection. We've got get total ribbon length, and very, very similar. We're going to go total equals 0, and we'll for each over this boxes as box, and we'll say total plus equals box get ribbon length, and we'll return the total. And we'll run that, and we get, should be able to get total ribbon length. Did not apparently work. Let's see why not. So our box collection spec says get ribbon length, and get ribbon length should return this stuff. Oh yeah, because we set up all this behavior, or I set up all this behavior. It's not your mistake, it's my mistake. And I never added the boxes to the collection, so I need to go ahead and do that. So we'll do this add box 1, and this add box 2. So notice there was a slight difference there. So this time it said it should be 730, instead we got null. That's because we had no return value. Now we got 0 because I do have return value. So it's actually getting into the function, but because I had no boxes in the collection, it was coming up with 0. And we could actually add a test to make sure that we get that behavior, to make sure that we're going to get back 0 or some positive value. So we run that, everything's happy, and our collection now is able to give us the total ribbon length. What we don't have yet is all of our box implemented. So our box interface says we've got a wrapping paper area and a get ribbon length, and we need to implement this guy. But in order to implement this, we need to have some tests. So we're going to do it can calculate ribbon length for box, and we'll say this get ribbon length should be, and according to the examples on the site, a present with dimensions 2 by 3 by 4 requires 2 foot by 2, plus 2 foot plus 3 foot plus 3 foot, so 10 feet of ribbon, plus another 24 feet of ribbon for the bow, which is the 2 times 3 times 4. So the smallest area around the box, the 2 by 3, we get the perimeter of that, and we add in the area. So the total volume is 34 feet, or not volume, but the total distance is 34 feet of ribbon. And we'll add one more example, so it can calculate ribbon for skinny box. So this is our 1 by 1 by 10 example, and the 1 by 1 by 10 get ribbon length should be, looks like our smallest is the 1 by 1 side. We get a perimeter of 4 plus 10 feet for the volume, so a total of 14 feet of ribbon needed for that one. And let's run that. And it fails. We get 2 failures, which is fine. So we want to go back and start implementing this. So we've only got right now 2 public bits on our box. We've got the get ribbon length, and we've got the get wrapping paper. So I'm going to put these up together, close by each other, and all of our private bits will be down below. And actually, we've got get height and get width and all that, but it's not part of our interface, so it's more like we wanted to make sure our tests were working properly. So the ribbon length, we need to get our minimum perimeter. So let's see, we've got perimeters is an array, and we'll say this get front perimeter, this get side perimeter. And again, I'm implementing what I want this to look like when I'm all done. I know what ribbon length should be, and then I just need to do the simple implementation of the other side, the other parts. So we'll do get top perimeter. So we've got our perimeters, and we'll say length is equal to our minimum perimeters plus this get box volume. So that one's the easy one. Let's do that one first. So implement the add volume, and we just multiply. So we do this height times this width times this length. That's our volume. And now we need to do our front perimeter. So we'll do add method. Our front perimeter is going to be 2 times our height plus our width. And now we need to do our side perimeter. And our side perimeter is 2 times the height plus the length. And our final method here, the get top perimeter, that perimeter is 2 times the length of the width, the length of the width. 2 times the width plus the length. And let's run that guy. All right, so we got, we expected the integer to be, we expected 14, but we got null, and we expected 34, but we got null. So let's see what we did. All right, our get ribbon length is there, and our box, does it return? Did I forget return? I did. So get ribbon length was almost done. We need to return the length. And I have a good feeling about this. And we have, everything is working. So we've now got, our collection is able to run across all of the boxes that we've created, and it can tell us how much wrapping paper is needed and or how much ribbon is needed for each of those boxes, or the total of all of them. So let's run it. We'll do PHP runner day 2 puzzle 2, and we get 3,812,909, which according to my Advent page is the correct answer for this puzzle. So with that one, this is kind of the way that things normally go, day 1, or at least my video of day 1 being an exception, that day 2, or day 2, puzzle 2 of whatever day tends to be much, much quicker, because a lot of the stuff that has been built is able to be reused. So with that, we're all done, and we'll see you next time for day 3. Thanks for joining.